This is Rising Phoenix Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Rhodes. This podcast is for men struggling with an unwanted divorce. I interview experts on divorce, mental health, and I provide insights gained from my own divorce journey. You are not alone. Join me. Hello and welcome to the show. This is episode 219. I just recorded this fucking episode and I didn't hit record. Fucking A. Oh, this is a solo one. Fuck. And let's start with these new locations. These are some doozies. Thank you, universe, for giving me these. First up, Salem. Sounds easy, right? Wait for it. Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Maybe that one isn't so bad. I think that's right. Episode 218, Curing Loneliness After Divorce, with Dr. Ron. I really like Dr. Ron. It was the second time he was on. I don't think we covered it, but he's been divorced, I think, 3 times. Next up, this one is the easiest of the bunch. Colombo District. You listened to episode 156. I had no one there for me, which was a solo one. I am talking fast because I want to get this fucking done with. Fuck. Sorry. I'll try to slow down. All right, here's a good one. Cochabamba? Departamento de Cochabamba. I would love to know where the fuck that is. You listened to episode 74, which was the mediation with the mediator Isaac. Okay, Duhok Governorate. Another one. Where the fuck is that at? Where the fuck is that at? Episode 49, Sleep Doctor with Dr. Shane Creato. Dr. Shane was awesome. Super smart, super compassionate fella. I also got some fan mail, which I don't love the fucking name, but it is what it is. And this one, both of these came in a little while ago. Apologies for not reading them sooner. I forgot. This one is from Evansville, Indiana. On March 16th, you said episode 143 hit hard, man. Feels good not being alone in all the pain. Sucks. Yes, sir. Certainly does do that. You're welcome. That's why I do all this stuff. It's to give hope, but also make sure you feel like you're definitely not alone. That is a truth. And then also got a comment from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Love the state of Louisiana. I lived there in New Orleans for 3 years. You probably heard that 600 times from me. March 20th, someone wrote simply episode 9, Anthony. Yes, that is episode 9. Maybe you wanted to say you enjoyed that one. I'm not sure. Anthony was on the podcast twice. He is now married, not to the girlfriend he talked about in his follow-up episode. I think they broke up shortly thereafter. Maybe shortly is the wrong word. But then ended up getting married. And I hope he's doing well. I haven't heard from him in a while, but I'm hoping he's doing well. Okay, that is all of that stuff. Now to the topic at hand. They changed some settings on Zoom, and you have to hit record to bring it up. And I thought hitting record meant I was recording, but I fucking wasn't. So yeah. Shuffle my papers here. Let's see. What I'm going to talk about is lessons learned. Some things that over the course of these 6 years and 9 months that I've gone through this journey, some what I would call truths. Truths as of right now, April 6th of 2026, which, by the way, I'll be 49 years old in 14 days. Fucking A. So these are truths now. I don't know if a year from now or 2 years now or 10 years from now, I'll believe these to be true, but I think so. And the first one of those is that when you first go through this, you have this illusion of control that you can still control them. You can get them to stop doing certain things. And that can be sensible things that make sense. But other things like don't fuck that guy. Unfortunately, you have no control over things like that, over most things. In fact, you have the only control you have is if it's a legal situation in terms of, she's not adhering to custody schedules, or she is, as someone posted the other day in a way, that, she is, falling down drunk and falling downstairs. And the only control you have over that is that you can, if it's egregious enough and documented, you can go back to court. Other than that, you can't do fuck all about it. Honestly, there's nothing you can do. And that's a tough one to swallow. Um, sometimes we think we can shame them into staying, or into behaving the way we want or whatever. But once they're gone, they don't give a fuck what you have to say, and whatever you say has no bearing on them and what they do. In fact, sometimes I think if you say something, they're just going to do it out of fucking spite. I mean, I've done that. I'm sure of it. So I think that what eventually led me to wrap my head around this was I realized that whatever I was trying to do wasn't working. Whatever control I was trying to reestablish just led to misery for me. Like banging my head up against the wall, expecting the wall to get out of my way. It's like I'm a wall, fucker. I ain't moving. So I think at some point you just decide that I'd rather have peace and contentment in my life, and trying to control someone that I can no longer control does not lead itself to feeling peaceful or content. So, truth number one, is you have no control over your ex now, or soon to be ex-wife. None. Um, Next up on the list, trying to fucking shuffle some things around here. Staying stuck is a choice. Staying miserable is a choice. There is a weird comfort, a familiarity in playing a victim. I see it often in the Facebook group. It's a lot safer to stay a victim for a few reasons. One is, let's say you do put in the work, quote unquote, and you find a therapist, and some people give it like 2 sessions and they're like, didn't fucking help. And then you put in the effort, a little, even it's a little bit of effort, just enough to check a box. And then it compounds the pain you're already feeling. It makes you feel even worse about who you are. And you're already feeling pretty shitty about who you are. And I think that's the intent, is if we try a little bit, we know we kind of innately know it's going to fail, and that's fine, because it reinforces the fact that I'm a piece of shit, or if only she would come back. That's the real answer, is if she would just accept me, then I would feel better. Spoiler alert, that's not fucking true. And it's hard. It's hard to do the work. It's hard to decide that I'm gonna do something, or do things, or do life completely different than I'm used to. I have a narrative that I'm not a good person, and I'm going to continue to prove that by chasing this person who will reinforce that I'm not a good person. But these are all choices. Staying stuck is a choice. It is. But you have to get to a point where I'm hurting is not the excuse that you think it is. It equates to I'm hiding, right? You have to let go of that, or you have to acknowledge it. I'm really staying where I am and staying stuck and chasing her and feeling inadequate because that's easier than looking in the mirror, looking at my childhood, looking at my flaws, and healing. Healing is scary shit. But you can make the choice to do that, and in the long run, you'll be better off. 1,000%. Speaking from experience. And all of these are lessons from experience. While I went to life coaching school, I didn't learn a lot of this shit. And that wasn't really about life. It was like how to coach people, but it didn't give me insights. It wasn't a psychology class, although there was a little bit of that in there. Next up is that men love to isolate. The lone wolf, if you will, mentality that I'll do it myself. That if I don't, I'm a bitch. There is a societal pressure to not share your feelings. But what I have learned is there's a few things. One, you can't heal in a vacuum. You can't heal by yourself. Sharing your pain is a surefire way to get you closer to healing because it's you can't feel it. If you can't feel it, you can't heal it. And when you feel it in a not in public's probably not the right word, but in a group setting with other men or even one-on-one, and you get comfort and you get reassurance and you get love, I'll say, it can help the healing process. You feel seen, you feel heard, you feel understood, you feel less broken. When someone's like, I understand because I felt that too, or I feel that too. I'm working on that myself. But we've been told that that's not very manly. Don't cry. Don't be a bitch. You better man up. You better stuff it down. You better shut the fuck up. No one cares anyway. To me, the most manly, if you want to call it alpha, I'm not a fan of that. I mean, we're not fucking wolves. We're men, but whatever. The most difficult thing, one of the most difficult things in the world to do is to sit with your pain, to define it clearly. It's not I'm hurting because she left me. It's I'm feeling abandoned, and that pushes on a wound that says that wound that I was given at childhood that says I'm not good enough. If you can sit with that to the point of definition and then share it with someone, there aren't many more things in life that are more fucking difficult than that. And so therefore, if you want to be a man, do that. That's incredibly difficult. If we're men, if we're masculine, if we're manly, we're doing hard things. We should be doing hard things. Now, I'm not saying, run towards Mount Everest and fucking climb it. I mean, if you want to, that's cool. But I'm not saying do things that aren't out, that are inside of your interests and your life. You don't have to chase every hard thing. But when we're talking about healing, that shit is hard. And so if it's hard, then we should be doing it. We should be running towards our pain with caveats that you can rest, that you can take breaks, you can have setbacks. And that leads to the next lesson, that change, pattern, and habit, not necessarily habit, but deep pattern change. It's not an overnight thing. It's not a sprint. It's not if you want to use like a war type of analogy, it's not a skirmish. It's a fucking full blown out war. And it requires intent. But there are setbacks, there are losses, there are moments where you have to take a break, where you do fuck up, or you do slip, or you make mistakes. That's part of this. I think one of the bigger problems is we start putting in effort, and then we get derailed in some kind of way, and then we say, fuck it. See, we don't keep on going. It's like we start to climb that fucking mountain and we slip down and say, yeah, see, I told you it's too fucking hard. And we walk away and we give up. And then we beat ourselves up for doing that, because that is easier than continuing to climb that motherfucking mountain. So change is hard. Patterns are hard. We're talking about shit that's ingrained, neural pathways that are ingrained in our brains because we've been doing things a certain way for so fucking long. And we have these moments of setbacks, and we let that guide us rather than the small victories that we do have. And it's hard. It's hard. This is hard. It's a lot easier to stay stuck. It's a lot easier to use your missteps, I'll even call them failures, as evidence that you shouldn't continue. And I say that's bullshit. It's evidence that maybe you should try harder or differently. I mean, not even harder necessarily, that although that could be, but it's not always about more effort. Sometimes it's about different efforts. In like something like therapy. Maybe you went to a traditional Freudian type therapist and maybe it didn't fucking work. Maybe you got nothing out of it. Well, there are other modalities. There are fucking, I don't know, probably dozens, if not more, that you can explore. You can't give up at the first sign of a slip, a setback, a misstep, a failure. Uh, this is going a lot faster than the first take. Fuck, I really wish I would have recorded that. Next up is something that I think. I mean, it speaks to all of this. I think, and I think it speaks to knowing your worth, or not knowing it, but having your worth. Because if you really want something, you'll fucking work for it. Period. If you want to stay stuck because it's a familiar pain, you're going to. But if you really want to improve, to grow, to not give your power, your happiness, again, I'm not a fan of that word necessarily. I mean, who doesn't want to be happy, but it's such a fucked up definition because it's different for everybody. But whatever it is for you, if you want that, you have to you have to put in the work for it. And that's true for any goddamn thing. Listen, if you want to be a doctor, it takes a little while, it takes some work. You got to go to school and all that kind of happy horse shit. This is why I'm not a doctor. Well, there's probably many reasons I'm not a doctor, but that's certainly one of them. I didn't want to do that fucking kind of work. But the healing work I wanted to do. So, I mean, I think you can hear that. Healing isn't something that just happens. And it doesn't require a new partner. It doesn't require a new marriage. You have to want it. You have to really, truly want it. And here's the thing, because you're listening, I know that you do. I know that. You wouldn't be listening otherwise. Not, unless you just stumbled onto this podcast today or tonight or whatever. This is the first time you're hearing it. But even if you've made it this far, you want to change your life. And no, I'm not trying to fucking sell you a course, although I mean you can hire me, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tell you that if you want to fucking change, you got to work for it, and it is possible. Period. I promise you. Is it hard? Yeah. But a phoenix doesn't become a phoenix unless he stands up out of those fucking ashes. His wings don't magically fucking grow if he stays down. You have to get up and keep getting up. That's why I love the phoenix, because it keeps failing, but it keeps going. It's pretty fucking awesome, really. And I'm not saying don't take breaks. I'm not saying reevaluate. I'm not saying keep banging your head against the wall. If you really want to knock down a wall, you're trying your head, maybe grab a hammer. Try some different things. But if you really want something, you have to give it everything. Again, that doesn't mean that you can't take a break. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you want to take a break, take one, but make sure that your desire to take a break isn't coming from a place of imbalance. Like, in other words, I'm going to put effort into this thing, but it isn't fulfilling. This isn't really what I want to do. You can do that. You can change. You can reevaluate. I mean, not when it comes to healing, but whatever your dreams are or your desires, you can definitely change your mind about things. You can definitely change your actions and pivot and try new things. But when it comes to healing, you have to really fucking want it and you have to work at it. And it's hard. That's why there aren't, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of listeners. And that's okay. I look at the numbers, but I don't do it for that, clearly. I mean, I started with 0. So I'm pretty stoked about what I got. Not that things might change and nothing lasts forever and all that kind of good shit, but I am very proud of where I'm at. And that leads me to the last lesson. Again, I'm sure I'm forgetting some and all that kind of good shit, but if you don't learn how to talk to yourself better, none of this other shit matters. Like if you're trying these things, if you're like I'm gonna find a good therapist, I'm gonna open up, right? And then you have a therapy session that's amazing, a breakthrough, and you cry and you leave that and you go, man, I'm such a bitch for crying. What the fuck is wrong with me? I'm such a pussy. If you let that voice win, none of this other shit matters. You have to find a way to curtail. You can't stop it, but you can manage it. You can curtail it. You can push back on it. But if you don't find a way to deal with that negative voice, you will stay stuck. If you keep letting that voice win and finding a reason to stop, and that reason is usually I'm not good enough. You have to learn to tell that voice either to fuck off or ignore it or shove it to the side or whatever. There are different strategies. I don't think in this regard everyone is the same. I think different strategies work for different people. I'll sometimes just name it and be like, well, that was fucking negative. How's that helpful? Sometimes I will say, shut the fuck up. I mean, sometimes I'll call it my mom. Sometimes I'll just ignore it and go, whatever. It really kind of depends on what works for you. Try some shit. So I think that's all I got on the lessons front. I'll wrap up here in a second, but I do want to touch base on sort of like, man, I'm really pissed that I didn't record that one, that other one. Kind of where we're heading. I'm going to get to the break, I hope, which will be the end of May. And then I'll be taking a break for the summer. Be back in September, I think. So I think that's what, 8 more episodes, give or take. I think I have enough solo ones. I have been talking to a celebrity. Talking to is probably not. I've had a brief conversation with a celebrity. I would call him a celebrity that indicated he's interested. But I haven't really focused on the timeline or the recording and all that kind of stuff. I will. Definitely excited about that one. So if I get him, I'm pretty sure that will get me to the end of the break. And then as far as solo ones, I'm not exactly sure. I have a couple of ideas. Once I come back from the break, then I believe my plan will be because I said I was going to start this on this episode, but I did say that I reserve the right to change my mind, and I did. I'm going to sort of give my life story, I guess, give you insight on. It'll probably be in 4 parts, 5 parts, 3 parts. Fuck, I don't even know. Just give you insight on me and my life and maybe some of the more major things that shaped me and made me the way that I am, and hopefully they'll resonate and help you feel less alone. Back to the gentleman's comment earlier, because it's part of the goal. But all of these things that I explained are all lessons that I've learned, and they were expensive in some ways, financially and otherwise. There's things that if I had learned them before, maybe I wouldn't be here. I don't know. It's hard to say. But one thing I absolutely positively can say is that the man that you're listening to now respects himself a whole lot more than when he did before he started this journey. And I'm not special. I'm just a dude in his basement in Pennsylvania, and I'm very proud of the work I've done. But I know that it's not impossible to do these things. It's not impossible to come out of this better than before. That's not impossible. In fact, it's very possible. So I guess my question to you is, which one of these things do you feel like don't feel possible or seem impossible to you? Is there any one of those truths that you feel like is not obtainable? Because if you feel that way, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. There's nothing stopping you from getting to these truths, to getting to healing, to seeing this as the opportunity that it is, to seeing that you can come out of this better than before. A better life is there waiting for you. I promise you. Until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. If you are feeling alone on this journey, please join our Discord server. Becoming a Phoenix is not a solitary act. It is one achieved through community. Our Discord server is just that, a community of men fighting to survive, thrive, and rise from their divorce. Go to risingphoenixpodcast.com/Discord for information on how to join and what is contained in our Discord server. Please join us.